Welcome to the Everyday English Podcast with E2. Each week, some of the best English teachers in the world teach you all you need to know about English grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. You can also practice what you hear in this podcast with our online English courses at www.e2english.com, where you can sign up for free. In this podcast, we're going to talk about how to introduce yourself in different contexts. You see, when you introduce yourself in English, you need to consider the social context. Are you introducing yourself to one person or a group of people? Is the person you're introducing yourself to around the same age as you, or are they significantly older? Is the person you're introducing yourself to in a higher social position than you, like a CEO or a doctor or a professor? Where are you when you introduce yourself? Are you in a cafe or a boardroom or at a conference? And why are you introducing yourself? What's the purpose of your introduction? All of these factors determine how you can best introduce yourself. So in this podcast, I'll teach you all the best possible phrases that you can use. All right, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jay, and I'm one of the expert teachers here at E2 English. That's how I introduce myself on this podcast, and I think it works well. But introducing yourself can be awkward if you don't know the right type of introduction to use because, as I mentioned, there are heaps of different ways to introduce yourself. The right introduction depends on 3 factors. Number 1, who you're speaking to. Number 2, why you're speaking. And number 3, where you're speaking. This is what I mean by context. Context refers to who you're speaking to, why you're speaking, and where you're speaking. If you understand the social context, then you'll be able to introduce yourself properly using the correct type of introduction. Now, there are informal, semi-formal, and formal contexts. Let's start with informal introductions in informal contexts. Here, you are typically speaking to someone around the same age as you. This happens a lot outside of work, in cafes, or on the street. And the reason you're introducing yourself is to be friendly and likable. Okay, so in informal contexts, we can introduce ourselves with great phrases like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Jay." "Hey, how's things? I'm Jay." "Hey, how are you? I'm Jay." Ready? You try. Repeat after me, but just remember to use your own name. "Hey, how's it going? I'm Jay." "Hey, how's things? I'm Jay." "Hey, how are you? I'm Jay." Now, you have to be careful with informal introductions. They really need to be used in informal contexts. If you introduce yourself informally in a semi-formal or formal context, then it's going to sound really weird. And you might want to pay attention to how younger people introduce themselves to each other in informal contexts where you live, because it changes by country. In the United States, for example, people might say, "What's up?" We don't really say that here in Australia. We tend to say, "How's it going?" or "How are you going?" But this is very Aussie, and I'm sure Americans and Canadians wouldn't use it. Now, if you're a male and you're introducing yourself to another male in an informal context, you might want to use a synonym for friend, such as, "Hey man," "Hey bro," "Hey buddy," "Hey mate," "Hey dude." Again, this is location dependent. In Australia, we often say, "Hey mate," but I don't think they say that in the States or Canada. So listen carefully to what the locals say and mimic that. And as for women introducing themselves to other women or with men and women, I've noticed that they don't say man, bro, or sister, or buddy, or mate. They just say hi or hey. Informal introductions are fun, and if you practice them, you'll feel completely confident and natural. Now let's talk about semi-formal introductions. With semi-formal introductions, you're probably going to be at work or in a workplace and you'll be speaking to someone on the same social level as you. Here you're being a little bit more polite and respectful, but you're not subordinating yourself. You're not below the other person. You're connecting with them respectfully. So the next time you're speaking to a colleague or your doctor or a police officer or a teacher or professor, you might want to use some of these phrases. "Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Jay." Hi, I'm Jay. How are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Jay. You're Sam, right? I'm Jay. Nice to meet you. Ready? Repeat after me, inserting your name. Imagine you're at work speaking to a new colleague and you want to be polite and respectful. Hi, I don't think we've met. I'm Jay. You try. Hi, I'm Jay. How are you? You try. Nice to meet you. I'm Jay. You try. You're Sam, right? I'm Jay. Nice to meet you. You try. If you want to introduce yourself to an elderly person, you might want to use the phrase, "Hello, I'm Jay. It's really nice to meet you. What's your name?" Ready? Let's try it again. Repeat after me. Hello, I'm Jay. It's really nice to meet you. What's your name? Alright, now let's talk about how to introduce yourself when you're public speaking. Of course, when you're public speaking, you're typically speaking to a small or even large group of people, and you're speaking to inform or educate or maybe even entertain. Introducing yourself while public speaking is easy. All you need to say is, "Hello everyone, I'm Jay." Ready? Repeat after me. Of course, use your name. Hello everyone, I'm Jay. This is such a simple, humble, and powerful way to greet an audience. Hello everyone. It's really nice because it includes everyone, and you're speaking to every person, not a group. It's kind of casual, but also authoritative at the same time. Alright, so in today's podcast, we learned how to introduce ourselves in 3 different contexts: informal, semi-formal, and formal. So keep these phrases in mind the next time you need to introduce yourself, and remember to practice your English with E2 by going to www.e2english.com for great online courses to improve your grammar, vocab, and pronunciation.